Well, good evening. Welcome to Wednesday night's edition of Bedtime Stories. I am Pastor Michelle. Let's take a deep breath, shall we? We are still getting through these days, right? These crazy, crazy, crazy days of a global pandemic. And no, we're not in a movie. This is real life. So it's crazy though, right? It's crazy that we are going through this right now. But I like doing these videos. They have been helping me get through this. And in 2025, when we're through this, sometimes it feels like that's when it's going to be. I hope to continue these because this has brought me joy in the midst of all the despair that seems to surround us. So anyway, we're going to get into the Bible stories first. And so tonight we're going to hear about Solomon the king who had many, many wives. And so this is a picture of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba in the mid 1600s. There you go. And that was painted by artist Eustace Latour. Okay. So, no king in the stories of the Bible so speaks to our imagination as King Solomon. His reign was crowned with glory. He was rich, powerful, and wise, a quality bestowed upon him by God. In a dream, God asked him what he wanted most, and Solomon replied, an understanding mind to govern your people, able to discern between evil and good. Solomon reorganized his realm into 12 districts that cut across tribal boundaries so as to centralize power in Jerusalem. To pacify tribal sensibilities, he continued his father's policy of marrying wives from many tribes, as well as from those nations with whom he struck an alliance. Solomon also found time to adjudicate civil cases, and this is one that is very well known. One in which two prostitutes were fighting over a baby, each claiming it was hers. Solomon said, "Bring me a sword," and ordered the child cut in two, with each woman receiving half of the body. Shocked, one of the mothers said, "Please, my lord, give her the living boy." Solomon knew that the true mother had spoken, for no woman could see her own child killed. The king also composed 3,000 prophets and over 3,000 proverbs and over 1,000 songs, and could speak about a vast range of subjects, from cedar wood to different species of animals. The Bible depicts Solomon's reign as an era of great prosperity. Indeed, there is evidence that the Levite was experiencing strong economic growth. As wealth poured into his treasury, Solomon fulfilled God's promise to David to build a temple to house the Ark of the Covenant. To do so, he launched a donation drive that netted 5,000 gold and 10,000 silver talents, roughly $100 million in today's currency. When the project was finished, a temple of white and gold had risen over Jerusalem. At the same time, Solomon built a ring of strongholds to protect his kingdom, with fortresses in Megiddo, Hazor, and Gezer. But as soon as the aged king died, tribal support for a unified Israel began to crumble. And so, my friends, we're going to start talking about some of the prophets tomorrow. And soon, we'll be getting into the New Testament. And so, as I'm reading this National Geographic book, I would assume that one of the key figures in the New Testament will be Jesus, but we'll see. I feel like they could write a whole other National Geographic book about Jesus. So anyway, let's get into our Disney story of the night. So our Disney story tonight comes to you from, excuse me, my friends, while I look this up. All right. So yesterday it was Treasure Planet. Today it is Hercules. Anyone else remember that scene from Nutty Professor? All right, so Hercules, bring a friend. Hercules was training to be a hero and a boy. And boy, wasn't a lot of work. One day, Phil, his coach, set up a practice course for Hercules. Phil had put a doll somewhere in the course. He said it was a practice damsel in distress, and Hercules was supposed to rescue it. So the hero in training barreled into the first section of the course, a darkened cave. Herc plunged into darkness, and fell headfirst into stagnant water. Yuck! Hercules spit out putrid water and scowled. feeling his way through the dark water with his feet. Herc noticed something slippery slipping around his ankles. Snakes. He hurried toward the other end of the cave and dove into the daylight, shaking the last snake off his feet. Panting, Herc lay down on the grass to rest for a moment. Rest later, Phil shouted. Herc slowly rolled over. The doll had to be around here someplace. Then Hercules heard stamping hooves behind him and turned around. A huge ox was barreling down on him. Herc jumped to his feet and dodged the ox. At last he spotted it. The doll was sitting 20 feet above him on the edge of a steep cliff. At least Phil had left him a rope. In fact, it looked as though Phil had left two. Gripping the first rope in his jaws, Herc inched steadily upward. He was about halfway up when Phil lit the end of the second rope, which was soaked with oil. The fire raced up the rope toward a stack of dry wood under Herc's damsel. Hercules threw himself the last few feet. He tackled the damsel, rolling away from the stack of wood, which was now blazing merrily. Breathing hard, Hercules finally relaxed. And another thing, Phil's gruff voice echoed up to him from the base of the cliff. Hercules held his breath, but not because he was waiting for Phil's next words. Herc was holding his breath because he had spotted a scorpion next to his foot. The insect was poised to sting. Crunch! Hercules' winged horse, Pegasus, used his hoof to flatten the creature. Hercules smiled at Pegasus as Phil's final words of advice reached his ears. It was the best tip yet. Always bring a friend. And that is a good tip for all of us, right? So, always bring a friend. And I hope you all have some good friends in your life. And to all my friends, thank you for being a friend. I was trying to remember the lyrics to that Golden Girls theme song. Thank you for being a friend. Gather back again. The heart is full. You're a pal and a confidant. Okay, I don't know the words. Anyway, God bless you all. Have a good night.